When most people see a dried out orchid, the first thought that pops into their head is simple. Throw it away, go to the store, buy a new one. Easy, problem solved. But what if I told you, you actually don't have to do that at all? Because believe it or not, orchids are built a little different. I'm talking about plants that can survive situations that would send most houseplants straight to the compost bin. So even when your orchid looks less like a plant and more like a prop from a botanical apocalypse movie, shriveled leaves, crusty roots, the whole "I have seen things" aesthetic, there is still a very real chance this thing isn't dead yet. And today we're going to prove it, because with the right tools, the right method, and just a little bit of patience, we're going to take this near-dead orchid and bring it back from the brink. Or at the very least, get it back on its feet. Or in this case, its roots. When most people see a dried out orchid, the first thought that pops into their head is simple. Throw it away, go to the store, buy a new one. Easy, problem solved. But what if I told you, you actually don't have to do that at all? Because believe it or not, orchids are built a little different. I'm talking about plants that can survive situations that would send most houseplants straight to the compost bin. So even when your orchid looks less like a plant and more like a prop from a botanical apocalypse movie, shriveled leaves, crusty roots, the whole "I have seen things" aesthetic, there is still a very real chance this thing isn't dead yet. And today we're going to prove it, because with the right tools, the right method, and just a little bit of patience, we're going to take this near-dead orchid and bring it back from the brink. Or at the very least, get it back on its feet. Or in this case, its roots. And if necessary, you can always trim off the dead parts of the plant, especially the roots. Now I know cutting parts off your orchid sounds a little extreme, but trust me, this is actually helping the plant, not hurting it. Because once a root is dead, it's not coming back. It's basically just sitting there, taking up space, holding moisture, and occasionally inviting bacteria and rot to the party. So what we're going to do is remove the useless ones. Anything that's mushy, hollow, or looks like it gave up on life 3 weeks ago, those can go. What you want to keep are the firm roots, the ones that still feel solid and alive. Those are the parts of the plant that can actually recover, grow, and start building a healthy root system again. After that, I'll always make sure to give the whole plant a thorough wash, because you'd be surprised how much junk likes to cling to orchids after you pull them out of old substrate. Bits of broken bark, old moss, random dirt, and sometimes stains that have been sitting there since who knows when. All of that needs to go. Because if you're about to help this plant recover, the last thing you want is leftover debris hanging around the roots causing problems later. So a gentle rinse under clean water usually does the trick. Just enough to wash away the clinging mess and reveal what the roots actually look like. Now it's time to bring in our little natural healer, aloe vera. This plant has been the go-to fix for everything from sunburns to questionable life decisions. And today, it's clocking in for orchid rescue duty. All we need is one fresh chunk to start with. Slice it open, expose that gel, and then gently scrub it across the plant. Leaves, base, and especially around the roots. That slick gel isn't just plant slime for fun. It's packed with compounds that help clean the surface, calm stressed tissue, and give the orchid a small boost while it's trying to recover. So we're basically giving this plant a quick spa treatment, except instead of cucumber water and relaxing music, it's aloe gel and the faint smell of botanical survival. While we're doing this, let me know something. If you've got your own orchid care tricks, don't keep that knowledge locked away like some ancient plant wizard. Seriously, orchids have been around for millions of years, which means people have come up with a ridiculous number of ways to keep them alive. Some swear by moss, some swear by bark, and some have that one mysterious method that somehow turns their house into an orchid jungle. So if you got a care routine that works for you, watering tricks, recovery methods, weird plant hacks, anything at all, don't be shy about it. drop it down in the comments and share it with the rest of us, because when it comes to keeping these dramatic little plants alive, the more knowledge we have, the better. As for the rest of the aloe, we're not letting it go to waste, we're cutting it into smaller pieces. Because one little chunk is great for scrubbing the plant, but the rest of this stuff still has plenty of use left in it. Aloe gel is loaded with nutrients and natural compounds that plants absolutely love. So instead of throwing it away, we're turning it into something useful for the orchid. Cut it up into manageable pieces. As for the rest of the aloe, we're not letting it go to waste, we're cutting it into smaller pieces. Because one little chunk is great for scrubbing the plant, but the rest of this stuff still has plenty of use left in it. Aloe gel is loaded with nutrients and natural compounds that plants absolutely love. So instead of throwing it away, we're turning it into something useful for the orchid. Cut it up into manageable pieces. Nothing fancy, just small chunks so the good stuff inside can release into the water. Now go ahead and fill the entire container with water. Nice and simple. Once everything is in there, give a good whisk. Not a gentle little swirl either. I'm talking about a proper mix, so the aloe gel, the rice, and the water all start blending together. Because right now we're basically introducing three completely different things into the same room, and they need a moment to get acquainted. So after mixing it up, just let the whole thing sit for a few minutes. After about 10 minutes, the mixture should be ready, and now it's time to strain the solution. Because while the water now has all the good stuff we want, the chunky bits of aloe and rice, yeah, those are not invited to the orchid party. If you pour everything in together, those little clumps will stick to the roots and leaves. And instead of helping the plant, they just sit there looking weird and making a mess. So grab a strainer, filter the liquid into a clean container, and keep only the smooth solution. That way your orchid gets the helpful nutrients. Now before we use it, we're going to add just a little more water to dilute the whole thing. Because right now the mixture is a bit concentrated, and orchids, despite their reputation for surviving plant-level disasters, still prefer things on the gentle side. So add a bit more clean water and give it another quick mix. Using a clean tissue that's been soaked in the solution, we're going to give the entire plant a thorough wipe down. And when I say thorough, I mean the whole operation. Leaves, the base of the plant, around the crown, and especially the roots, because those areas love to collect leftover dirt and stains from the old substrate. Remember, this orchid just came out of what was basically a tiny plant disaster zone. Compacted media, dead roots, random debris stuck everywhere. So this step is like the final cleanup after we finish the rescue mission. Take the soaked tissue and gently wipe across the leaves, removing dust, residue, and any lingering grime that might still be clinging to the surface. Now, when it comes to giving the orchid a proper home again, the setup is actually pretty simple. Under ideal circumstances, most people already know the basics. But just in case you're new to the orchid game, here's what we're working with. First, we need a good pot with proper drainage holes. And I'm not talking about one tiny hole pretending to do a job. Orchids absolutely hate sitting in stagnant water, so the more airflow and drainage the pot allows, the happier those roots are going to be. Next up, pine bark. Just a handful is enough to get started. Because orchids aren't like regular houseplants that live in dense soil. In nature, they grow attached to trees, with their roots exposed to air, grabbing moisture whenever rain or humidity shows up. So pine bark works perfectly here. It keeps the roots supported while still leaving plenty of gaps for airflow and drainage, which basically means the plant gets stability without feeling like it's being buried alive in a pot of mud. In some cases, the plant might come out of this whole process looking a little weak, kind of like it just finished a 5-round boxing match with bad potting media. And when that happens, that's where this little guy comes in, the metal stake. Because sometimes the orchid simply doesn't have enough strong roots yet to hold itself upright. Without support, it can wobble around in the pot, and every time the plant moves, the fragile roots we're trying to grow can get disturbed. So the solution is simple. Place a metal stake next to the plant and gently secure the orchid to it, just enough to keep it stable. And what better way to finish the setup than by topping everything off with a light layer of moss? Now, this part isn't about burying the plant. We're not making a moss lasagna here. The goal is just a thin layer over the top of the bark, because moss does something really useful. It helps hold a bit of moisture around the surface without completely suffocating the roots underneath. Orchids love humidity, but they absolutely hate being waterlogged. So this little layer acts like a buffer, slowing down how fast everything dries out while still letting air move through the pot. Just spread a small layer across the top. Nice and gentle, nothing too thick. After about 3 weeks of proper care, something pretty exciting usually starts to happen. And if you've been paying attention to the plant, you might already notice it. That's right, folks. New roots. Little fresh tips starting to poke out from the base of the plant. Bright, healthy, and finally doing what orchids do best, growing. And honestly, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Because once new roots start showing up, it means the orchid has officially decided that life is worth continuing. After everything it went through, the trimming, the cleaning, the recovery treatment, the new pot setup, this is the plant's way of saying, all right, maybe this place isn't so bad after all. Those new roots are the foundation of the entire recovery, because once the plant can grab water and nutrients properly again, everything else starts improving too. Now remember that aloe vera solution we made earlier. Yeah, I really hope you didn't throw that away, because that mixture still has a job to do. And this is where it becomes part of the long-term care for the orchid. Instead of letting it sit there and go to waste, we're going to use that solution to gently support the plant while it's recovering. After everything this orchid went through, the root trimming, the cleaning, the repotting, the whole rescue operation, it's still in a rebuilding phase. And that's where this mixture comes in. The aloe contains natural compounds that can help soothe plant tissue, while the diluted rice water carries a small amount of starch and trace nutrients. Nothing aggressive, nothing overwhelming, just a mild little boost that the plant can make use of while it's focusing on growing new roots. So every once in a while, you can use a small amount of this solution when caring for the plant, lightly applying it to the roots or using it during watering. But remember, moderation is key. Orchids are survivors, not potion addicts. Too much of anything can cause problems. So the goal here is simply to give the plant occasional support while it continues rebuilding its root system. And if everything goes well, those tiny root tips you saw earlier will slowly grow longer, stronger, and eventually turn this once struggling orchid into a healthy plant again. Which means the weird little aloe experiment we started earlier actually ends up becoming part of the orchid's full recovery plan. And after 1 whole month of care, patience, and not giving up on the poor thing, this is our final result. Take a look at it for a second. The leaves look firmer, the plant is sitting upright again, and overall it just looks alive, which is a massive upgrade from the botanical apocalypse survivor we started with. This is what proper recovery looks like. Once the orchid finally gets healthy roots again, everything else slowly starts stabilizing. The leaves regain strength, the plant holds itself better in the pot, and the whole thing just stops looking like it lost a fight with gravity. Now, is it perfect yet? Not exactly. Recovery takes time, and orchids are not exactly known for rushing anything in life. These plants operate on what I like to call ancient forest time. But compared to where we started, this is a huge comeback. From dried roots and suffocating media to a stable plant with a fresh setup and room to grow again. And honestly, this is the part one love the most about orchid care. Because sometimes a plant that looks completely done for just needed the right cleanup, the right environment, and a little patience to bounce back. So if you ever see an orchid that looks like it's on its last legs, don't be too quick to throw it away. With the right steps, You might just watch it pull off a comeback like this one. And there you have it. One orchid that went from looking like it lost a fight with the apocalypse to slowly getting its life back together. All it took was a little cleanup, a better home, some patience, and a rescue plan that didn't involve throwing the poor thing in the trash. And honestly, that's the fun part about orchids. These plants might look dramatic when they struggle, but give them the right conditions, and they can bounce back in ways that would make most houseplants completely jealous. So if this little orchid comeback story helped you out, or if you just enjoy watching plants return from the brink of botanical doom, make sure to hit that like button so the algorithm knows we're out here committing plant science. And if you want to see more orchid rescues, care guides, and the occasional slightly chaotic plant experiment, consider subscribing as well. Because who knows, the next plant we save might look even worse than this one did. Until then, take care of your plants, and hopefully they'll take care of you too.